Hello and welcome back to The Long Way Forward. If it's your first time here, The Long Way Forward is a podcast about life, learning, living better, and having some fun along the way. This is episode 23, and it's all about an invisible force that shapes outcomes. Not Star Wars Invisible Force, but real nevertheless. It's called influence. Now, as I said, this is episode 23. If you enjoy my content, I'll kick it off just by saying that, hey, it'd be great if you could subscribe, join me on the journey, like, comment. Now, I do answer comments, and if you've got any questions, by all means, send me a message. Today, as I said, we're going to talk about something that often goes unnoticed, and it shapes outcomes in a powerful way: influence. Now, if you've been following along, and I hope you have, if you have been following along, you'll notice how everything that we've covered is starting to connect. We kicked off with principles and aligning those principles, perseverance, so applying those principles, reflection, looking at outcomes, growth and learning. Then we reflected on standards. We talked about accountability and trust. And these all lead into one another. And now we're going to talk about influence. Because influence is what happens when all of those things come together. I'll touch them on again very quickly, Principles, alignment, perseverance, reflection, standards, accountability, and trust. Can you see how they all come together to build and form influence? And if you haven't heard me spiel about those topics, haven't heard me talk about those topics, I highly recommend you do, because those are the foundations that this podcast is built upon. Now, influence, as I said, is what happens when all of those things get brought together. I'll start, if I may, with a simple idea. I guess that works. I'm a simple guy. I'll start with a simple idea. Influence is not about control. It's about impact. It's about the outcome. It's not about telling people what to do. That's not influence. That's being a jerk. Sometimes, anyway. It's about shaping how things happen. You're not telling people what to do. You're shaping how things happen. And here's a key point when it comes to influence. Everybody has it. Everyone has influence. Not just leaders, not just managers, not just people with double-barrel titles, but everyone has influence in some way. Because influence is created through behaviour, through consistency, through the way that you show up. I'll give you an example about influence. Think about someone in your life who has influenced you. Now, I have someone in my mind who's influenced me. They did not force you. No, this person did not force me. They did not control me. They didn't control you. But something about how that person in your mind, the person you're thinking of, something about how they operated stayed with you. Am I resonating? Maybe it was their consistency. Maybe it was their attitude. Maybe it was how they handled pressure. That's influence. I'll share my influence with you. This one's a gentleman. He's passed on now. He was a dad at the time, and he was in his late 30s. He had some teenage sons with the same age as me at that stage, it was about 19 or 20, 19. And he taught me a lot just by the way that he interacted and the way that he presented and the way that he showed up. He taught me a lot about the kind of person I wanted to be and some of the ways that I could bring that into my reality by my actions. That influence stayed with me today. Now, you'll have someone like that in your life. Maybe it'll be someone that, if you want to be a chef, someone you admire the way they present, the way they work, the way they talk, their passion. They're influencing you, just as an example. Now, on influence and the story I've just told, here's something really important to understand. Influence is built over time. It's not immediate. It's not loud. And it's not always obvious. It's built over time. You can't ask for it. You can't demand it. You have to earn it. And because it's done over time, it's always present. Every interaction you have and every decision that you make, every behaviour you repeat is shaping your influence. Good, bad, otherwise. Let's connect this back to trust. Influence is built on trust. Without trust, influence can't exist. People might listen, but they won't be moved. When trust is strong, influence becomes natural. It's almost assumed. It just makes sense that you let that person that you trust influence you. People pay attention to those they trust. They observe and they follow, not because they have to, but because they choose to. So if you want to be influential, you have to earn trust. And to earn trust, you need to work back through the other topics that I covered before. And if you didn't get them, go back and listen to the podcast again, and you'll see what I mean. And if you want to learn about those, starting with what you stand for, and then working through authenticity and perseverance, integrity, right through to reflection, these are the things that give you influence because they build trust. Now, sometimes people misunderstand influence. We see it a lot. They think it's about being persuasive. Hey, buy this now, it's cheap. Convincing, charismatic. But real influence is much simpler than that. It's consistency. So simple. Just showing up again and again, doing what you say you're going to do. Doing what you say. Showing up the same way every day. Holding your standards, holding yourself accountable to your standards, because over time, people begin to associate you with reliability. That reliability becomes influence. So if you want to be influential, you got to be reliable. Someone people can count on. I'll give you a workplace style example in any team at all. Think about your team. There are always people others look to, not because of their title, but because of how they operate. They stay calm, they think clearly, they follow through, they own their outcomes, and they help others without throwing them under the bus. They help them, they lift them up. Over time, people start asking those people for input. They ask them for guidance and for perspective. Why? Because they trust them. That's influence. So if you want to be influential, think about all of that. Ask if people are asking you for input, if they're asking you for guidance, seeking you out for your perspective. And if they are, that's a win. If they're not, then maybe you want to look at some of the ingredients of influence and just see where you can do some work. This is what this podcast is about, by the way. I didn't say it would be easy. I didn't say it would be kind. I'm not necessarily a kind man. I'm a good man, and I'll help you grow. Stay with me. Here's something really interesting. Interesting? Yeah, interesting about influence. It often grows without you noticing it. You don't wake up one day and think, hey, I'm influential now. No, it builds quietly through little actions, again, showing up, consistent small actions that turn into trust. And then one day you find people start turning to you because they trust you. Now with that comes a responsibility. And this is going to start sounding a little bit like a Marvel comic because influence is powerful. And with great power comes great responsibility. Well, it's true. Like anything powerful, influence can be used well or it can be used poorly. Positive influence builds people. It shapes them, it grows them, it protects them, it empowers them. It improves environments. It raises standards. Negative influence does the opposite. And the difference comes down to one thing. that we discussed right at the beginning in episodes 1 and 2. If you haven't listened to them, highly recommend you do. The difference between positive and negative influence comes down to this one thing: your values. That's right, what you stand for. It determines how your influence shows up. I'll bring it back to something practical. And don't forget, if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. Trying to grow the channel. Really enjoy chatting, but would be nice to have some more influence. Just saying. Now for that practical something I promised. Because influence is not theoretical. It's lived. It lives and breathes all around us. Think about your environment. Think about work, home, your social circles. Where do you currently have influence? And more importantly, how are you using it? Are you helping improve things? Are you setting a positive standard? Are you supporting others? I mean, if you want to be doing those things, great. If you don't, well, that's a different path. I always try to be positive, help improve things, support others. Or are you just going with the flow? See, going with the flow isn't really exerting much influence, is it? But never mind that. As I said, influence exists either way. The question, though, is which direction is your influence going in? Because here's something I've seen time and time again. Remember, the most effective people don't actually try to be influential. They focus on their behaviour, on their actions, and their outcomes, and how those outcomes affect others and how those outcomes affect the environment around them. They don't really stop and think, hey, I'm influential. They just get on with it. And they do so consistently. They hold their standards. They remain true to what they stand for. And they take ownership. And whether they want to or not, influence follows. It's a byproduct. It's not a goal. It's just a byproduct. Now let's connect this back to everything we've built so far in this podcast. Where we started, your principles, your values, what you stand for, that defines your direction. Alignment with those keeps you consistent and makes life super easy. Perseverance builds momentum. After the fact, reflection sharpens your approach. Your standards set your expectations, and if you're accountable, your accountability reinforces your expectations, both of yourself and within other environments. These all flow through into trust. Trust strengthens relationships, and influence is the outcome of all of it. So if you want to be a leader, there's your checklist right there. If you want to be an influential leader, those are the things you need to have. Here's something practical for you to try this week. I always kick in with a practical exercise. Today's no different. Ask yourself, if someone was observing me for a week, what would they learn from my behaviour? Not what you say, but what you do. What would they learn from what you do? Because that's what influence is built on. And then ask yourself, is that the influence I want to have? Is that the memory of me, the impression of me that I want others to have? If the answer is yes, good on you. Well done and well met. Hail, sir. Keep going. Hail, madam. If the answer is no, might be time for an adjustment, because influence is always evolving. Yes, you can change. We all change through life. If you aren't where you want to be today, keep doing what I've talked about and you will be in the future. That's what this podcast exists for. As I said, influence is always evolving, and small changes in behaviour over time create big changes. So remember this, you don't need a title to influence. You don't need permission. You just need consistency, because influence is not given, it is earned. Like trust, which follows before it, influence is not given, it is earned. And once you've earned the right to be influential, even though you didn't ask for it, your influence shapes everything around you. This is the Long Way Forward podcast. In the next episode, we're going to take this even further. As we do, just that little bit further. We're going to push it to the edge of the envelope, because Once influence is established, the next step of being influential is impact at scale. It's the ability to shape not just moments, but entire scenarios, environments. Think about it. Sounds good, doesn't it? Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening to my podcast. It would be awesome if you enjoy my content. Please subscribe. Don't forget to add a comment or a like if you have any questions, or if you like the podcast, just the thumbs up. I do answer questions and I do answer comments, and I'm really enjoying the community and it is rapidly evolving. I'm really enjoying that. I hope to see you in the next episode. Thanks for stopping by.